Hello and welcome to Cutting Words. I'm Brad Thompson, and today I'd like to go over a little list. I've been reading through Fizban's Treasury of Dragons, fantastic new book from Wizards of the Coast, and I've compiled a top 5 list of the new spells within it. This is a top 5 list for for 5 new spells in Fizban's Treasury of Dragons. There are 7 new spells in the book, and I compiled a top 5 list. So today you'll be seeing 4 of these new spells. That's right. All be clear in time. But that math we'll check out. Okay, without further ado, let's dive in, starting with number 5. All right, coming at number 5. We have none other than, wait for it, that's right, Draconic Transformation. This is a 7th level spell that appears on the Sorcerer, Wizard, and Druid spell list. So those classes have access to this new spell here. It's here because Turn into a Dragon's pretty cool. It's a bonus action to cast, lasts for a minute with concentration. So something you cast during combat. It is 7th level, so you're not going to see it too often, but when you do, it's pretty cool. It is... So when you turn into a dragon, you gain blind sight after a range of 30 feet. Blind sight's pretty cool. You can see invisible creatures, things that you can't normally see. It's pretty cool, and definitely one of the standout things it has going for it over other spells that's similar to this, like Tasha's Otherworldly Guise and I guess Tense's Transformation. Though I think Tasha's Otherworldly Guise is the closest comparison you could make here. So you get the blind sight, which is pretty useful, and you get this kick-ass breath weapon. I've really seen a buff since the Unearthed Arcana version of the spell. So this breath weapon, you can get a 60-foot cone, which is pretty big. Each creature in that area must make a dex save, taking 68 force damage, which force damage works pretty good against most things. Hardly anything is immune or resistant to force damage. And you can do that. So as a bonus action, when you cast a spell, when you cast a spell and also subsequent turn. So this constant bonus action option you have going forward, which is really good. Just keep spamming that out. And as well as you can fly on top of that, 60-foot flying speed. So you can stay out of the way. It does require a statue of a dragon with at least 500 GP, but by the time you can cast 7th level spells, that shouldn't be a problem at all. Now, the reason why it's so low, though, only 5th on the list, is because I still think Tasha's Otherworldly Guise does it better. There's some differences here, but I think if I had to choose between the two, I think I'd go with Tasha's Otherworldly Guise. Tasha's is a 6th level spell compared to the 7th. You get still bonus action to cast and all that. You get a flying speed, not as fast, but fast enough. But rather than the blind sight and the breath weapon, you get multi-attack, which is multi-attack's okay. But for spellcaster, can be a hit and miss depending on your build. But the big thing that Tasha gets over this is +2 to your AC and immunity to some damage types, as well as some conditions as well. Depending on which, you've got options with it as well. You've got different choices you can make with your immunities there, depending you want a fiendish appearance or a celestial appearance. So basically, because there's another spell that I feel is very similar, maybe potentially in certain scenarios does things better at a lower level, I think that's why this is rated so low. But is the cool factor of being turned into a dragon. That's pretty cool. All right, on to number 4. All right, coming in number 4, we have, drumroll, Summon Draconic Spirit. This is a spell for druids, sorcerers, and wizards, who are really, those three classes are the big winners in the Fizbans. They're getting all the cool spells here. But what we have here is a summon spell, akin to the summon spells in Tasha's Cauldron of Everything. Those summon spells are fantastic. If you've not seen them, I recommend checking them out and giving it a try. I'm playing a summoner in one of my games at the moment, and it's a lot of fun. Anyway, here we have a Summon Draconic Spirit. Now, the big takeaway from this one is a summon spell that's on the Sorcerer spell list. Sorcerers, unless you're playing a certain subclass of Sorcerer, by the most part, didn't get any summon spells at all in Tasha's Cauldron and everything. So they didn't get any summons. But now they actually have a summon spell that is on their spell list. And myself, in another game playing a high-level Sorcerer, I am very pleased, finally. My Sorcerer can join the summoning game and summon a dragon, no less, to fight on my side, be a mount, whatever, so that's not bad at all. Now, looking at this spell, is a 5th level spell. Action to cast, you can make this dragon appear within 60 feet of you, and it does require an object with an image of a dragon engraved on it worth at least 500 GP. 5th level, should be a problem to really get that. So 1 hour duration, concentration, conjuration spell. Let's see, you conjure forth a Draconic Spirit. So when you summon this Draconic Spirit, you choose between which dragon family you want it to be it gem, chromatic, or metallic. And depending on that family, you get, it gets resistance to that whole family's of dragons damage types. And you get to select one of those damage types for yourself to be resistant to. So it's quite nice, some versatility there. When you're up against a certain enemy dealing with a certain kind of damage, you can summon this up and choose the damage type you want to not get wrecked by. As well as its breath weapon also is the damage type of one of those resistances as well. You choose that. So yeah, it is upcastable to get even better stats, which is pretty cool. Otherwise, pretty versatile little summon. And the good thing about summons is it's another dude you have working for you that doesn't take any actions to do things. It's just an extra set of actions and movements and whatnot for you, which is pretty good. That's the best thing about summons. It's another dude on the field. An expendable one at that. It can attack or scan the way or potentially activate objects, magic items for you if you're that well prepared. That sort of thing, and it is very nifty to have. So yes, that is Summon Draconic Spirit. Alright, coming at number 3, we have a spell that really kind of caught my imagination a bit here. It seemed a bit interesting, a bit different from other spells I've seen, and yeah, I think there's a lot of potential. And it comes at number 3, and this is called a Chardon Stride. This is a spell for rangers, artificers, wizards, and sorcerers. Is a 3rd level spell, which is one of the downsides. 3rd level is a very popular slot. There's a lot of good 3rd level spells, so it has a lot of competition there. However, I think where it truly shines is when it's upcast, which we'll get to that in a sec. So there's a bonus action to cast. It only has verbal somatic components. There's a minute duration, concentration, transformation spell. Billowing flames, blast on your feet, you get hot feet. You run around with these fire feet. This spell increases your movement by 20 feet. And also, very importantly, you don't provoke opportunity attacks while the spell is up, which is pretty good. When you move within 5 feet of a creature or an object that isn't being worn or carried, it takes 1d6 fire damage from your trail of heat. A creature or object can take this damage only once during a turn. Okay, so there's no save or anything though. It just happens. So you run around, and these people just take that damage, and there's nothing they can do about it. It just happens, which is pretty cool. And then when it's upcast, which it scales very well here, when you cast a spell using a spell slot of 4th level or higher, increase your speed by 5 foot for each spell slot above 3rd. The spell deals an additional 1d6 fire damage for each spell slot above 3rd. So if you upcast this, say we cast it at 6th level. In the case of my high level sorcerer, for example, upcast this to 6th level. That's 46 fire damage I'm doing running around, as well as that's an extra math, 35 movement on top of my regular movement. So I could upcast this and I run around the battlefield, burning foes as I run by, cast my spell for the turn or whatever I'm doing, or for a melee build. In this case, well, my sorcerer in this case is also a Hexblade, so I'll run in there, do some melee attacks or what have you. Then I leave with my increased movement. I run there, burn from people, attack or what have you, leave the room. Leaving the room is pretty good defense. Like just not being in the room when the baddies have a turn. That's pretty good. So I think this spell has a lot of potential. The biggest downside being a 3rd level spell, but upcast, I mean, if you get into those levels, upcasting it's not bad. It has a lot of potential there, I think. A lot of potential fun. That I haven't seen a spell really do this. Yeah. So yeah, something to think about. Keep an eye on this one. A Chardon Stride. All right. Nearly at the end. Number 2. Number 2 is a very powerful spell. Whose name? Let's see if we can pronounce this one. Here we go. Number 2, we have Relitham's Psychic Lance. Okay. Hopefully it's close. This spell coming at number 4, 4th level spell, should I say, coming at number 2. Wow. This is so strong. You see that power creep definitely coming in here in these later books, which will be interesting to see how they rebalance that when they release the new core books in a few years' time. But what we have here is a spell that appears on the Bard, Sorcerer, Warlock, and Wizard spell lists. It's a 4th level spell, action to cast, 120 foot range, available component only, instantaneous enchantment, that has an int save and does psychic damage. And I call this the Blight Killer. So for my 4th level slot, normally I cast Blight that does this similar effect to this, but this just does it better. Let's go into the spell here now. I'll get up, then we'll get Blight up and compare. But so you unleash shimmering glance of psychic power from your forehead. Okay, sure. Don't love the aesthetic, but biggest can't be choosers when it comes to awesome, powerful spells, I guess. Add a creature that you can see within range. Alternatively, you can utter a creature's name. If the named target is within range, it becomes the spell's target, even if you can't see it. If the named target isn't within range, the lance dissipates without effect. So the baddie's invisible, what have you. Cool, doesn't matter, still target them. It's pretty good. The target must make an intelligence saving throw. On a failed save, the target takes 7d6 psychic damage and is incapacitated until the start of your next turn. On a successful save, the creature takes half as much damage and isn't incapacitated. At high levels, when you cast a spell using a spell slot 5th level or higher, the damage increases by 1d6 for each slot above 4th. Wow, where do I begin with here? So, for those who are not aware, incapacitated means Creature can't take actions or reactions. So basically, the creature almost effectively loses their turn. They can't take an action or reaction. They can still move and use a bonus, but that's it until if they fail to save. Which, denying baddies their actions is huge. You can't do anything. They lose a turn. So good. So this spell, where do I begin? It's so good. So let's look at the classes who get this. Bard gets this. Bard gets an awesome damage dealing spell. That's huge for Bard. Now Sorcerer, this is a fantastic twin cast. And my Sorcerer has Blight for this slot right now, and goodbye Blight. I'm taking this. Warlock and Wizard. A Wizard. This is an enchantment spell. The enchantment school Wizard can twin cast this for free. When they cast this, they can target 2 people for free. That's huge. It's amazing. Suddenly, enchantment school Wizard. I want to play enchantment school Wizard. Didn't before. Now I do. There's an awesome enchantment spell. So if we get Blight up here, it's this spell. So the Psychic Glance does 76 psychic damage. The Blight does 8d8 necrotic. Psychic is a better damage type. Not as many creatures are wrecked by it. Not as many creatures are resistant or immune to it. There are certain types, like depending on the campaign, obviously. My Blight's got necrotic, which a lot of things, especially undead, which is pretty common, doesn't work on at all. Even says on the spell. But watch out. Blight does the one thing going for it. Watch out for those plants. Those plants are going to get wrecked. It's always great when that rare occasion comes up. This is a plant. Oh no, watch out. Additionally, Blight is a con saving throw, which most creatures are a good con save. Meanwhile, the Lance has an intelligence saving throw, which most things aren't good at. Yeah. And then, of course, the Lance also has the Incapacitated Rider extra effect here. The deny creature a turn, effectively. It's just... So, technically it does slightly less damage, but it more than makes up for everything else. The Psychic Lance is... Yeah, the Blight killer. Sorry, Blight, you're gone. This is where it's at. Such a good spell. And I can see this being picked up and used a lot in games going forward. That is Rotham's Psychic Glance coming in at number 2. Alright, coming in at number 1, the top spell in Fizban's Treasury of Dragons. Here we go. Wait for it. Wait for it. It is, the top spell is Find Greater Steed. That's right. Find Greater Steed. It is a 4th level spell. Casting time 10 minutes. You can summon a creature within 30 feet. Components are available somatic. Instantaneous duration. Well, the creature lasts forever. Conjuration spell here. So when you summon this creature, it makes a mount. It is a paladin spell. Though bards can... bards generally steal this. It's pretty good prime target for stealing for a bard, because bards can get any spell. They can get it sooner. Battle-wise, Paladin gets it by default. And this 4th level spell, that summons them a cool mount. The options presented in the spell here is Griffin, Pegasus, Puritan, Direwolf, Rhinoceros, or Saber-toothed Tiger. And this form basically becomes a creature that is a mount bound to you. Communicate with it. It's a fantastic mount. Hangs around. Now this spell, you may say, hold on, what are you talking about? This spell is in Xanath's Guide to Everything. And you'll be correct. But there's an update to this spell in Fizban's Treasury of Dragons. A pretty amazing update. What we have here is a new steed option, which is superior to all the other options. It is the Dragonel. So Fizban gives us the Dragonel, a new mount option for Find Greater Steed. So it does say in the book, you know, a little amendment here that with the DM's permission, a paladin can summon a spirit in the form of a Dragonel using the Find Greater Steed spell. So you do still need DM's permission. You can't just assume that, but most DMs, I would say, would allow this. So the Dragonel is a large creature, which is great. So you can ride as a mount if you're a medium creature. It is, well, a dragon, which is super cool. Its stats are pretty comparable to the Griffin, which is probably the previous best mount to someone from Find Greater Steed. It's got similar AC and hit points to that, but its flight speed's a little on the slower side, 60-foot flight speed, which is still respectable. The Griffin was 80 feet. But there's a couple of things going for the Dragonel over the Griffin that really makes it shine. On top of it being just a dragon mount, which is super cool. First, we have the blind sight. So this dragon mount that you can telepathically communicate with can see invisible creatures or see through fog, see through all that stuff within 30 feet, which is fantastic. Give you a heads up, hey, I see this thing within 30 feet. Oh, thank you, mount. Best mount. Additionally, it has flyby. The Dragonel doesn't provoke an opportunity attack when it flies out of an enemy's reach. So your mount does not need to take the disengage action. So the Dragonel can actually dash. So if you're assuming it can dash, well, and don't worry about disengaging ever, and it is actually technically in that regard faster as it goes 120 feet around if you're dancing in and out of combat or what have you, which would in those situations make it faster than the Griffin and the Pegasus. So that's the Dragonel, a new option for Find Greater Steed, and pretty amazing. And that is why Find Greater Steed is the best spell in Fizban's Treasury of Dragons, having a permanent summon dragon that hangs around and gives you access to blind sight and flyby is really good. Really strong. And really cool. Having a dragon pet's cool. I mean, and you don't have to be a ranger to do it. The whole ranger subclass to get a dragon pet. Well, a paladin can do it, and a bard can do it. With this, it's pretty good. So yeah, that is my top 5 spells from Fizban's Treasury of Dragons. I hope you enjoyed my little list here, and I'll catch you around on the next video. All right, I'm Brad Thompson, and this has been Cutting Words. See ya.